Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samapprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururhatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम ओम सच्चिदानंद रूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदांत वेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वलोकहिते रतं वेदाब्ज भास्करं वन्दे समाधिनिलयं मुनिं सहस्रमूर्तेः पुरुषोत्तमस्य सहस्रनेत्राननपादबाहोः सहस्रनाम्नां स्तवनं प्रशस्तं निरुच्यते जन्मजरादिशान्त्यै. So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Hari Om.
Harihi Om. So, we are seeing this 35th sloka. Amrityas sarvadhrik simha sandhata sandhiman stira ajo durmarshana shasta Vishrutatma Sudariha. This is the sloka. We are seeing the meanings of the namas. And in the last class, we saw the meaning of Simha, the destroyer of our papas. And Adi Shankara says at the end of this explanation of this nama, iti namnam dvitiyam shatam vivritam. That means what? With this nama, 200 namas have been explained, right? They have been described, the name meanings of 200 namas. So now we'll go to the next nama. Next nama is Sandhata. Sandhata means the one who connects people to their fruits of action. Karma phalaihi purushan sandhatta iti sandhata. Basically, the word sandhata itself means the one who connects two things. He is called a sandhata. So, there are things that are connected, like the means and ends are connected. Then, there are certain other possibilities also between one possibility and the result of that possibility. There is also a connection in that. So these potential connections which are there, which there need to be established. And when a jiva who has actually collected so many karmas, punya papas, over so many crores of births, when the results of that punya papa has to be given, what is the nature of the punya papa and what should be the result of that, they need to be connected. It is just like, the judge in a court or something. He looks at all the crimes of the criminal and applicable laws which are there, and what are the punishments which are to be meted out to that criminal based upon the applicable laws, and the nature and extent of the crime, then he has to connect the crime or the criminal with the punishment. So in that sense, the judge is also a sandhata. And in the case of a karma phala, the additional complication is that certain karma phalas can be experienced only in a certain type of bodies. They can be experienced only when there is some particular parentage is there, a particular setup is there. So if these are all not there, then that set of karma phala cannot be fulfilled. Where karma by itself cannot bring any result. It is inert, it is a jada. And there are infinite number of karmas that are standing in one's account. So which karma phala has to fructify when and in what manner, under what circumstances, what type of a body needs that jiva needs to assume for the experiencing the result of that particular karma phala, all these needs to be determined. And these need to be determined by an intelligent being who knows everything. So it is more than just a mere connection between karma and karma phala. That's what we have to understand. When we understand Ishvara, the amount of details which are there, like for example, the time, the place, the body, the parentage, all these need to be conducive, appropriate for the karmas to fulfill themselves. And this is all part of the order of the cosmos, part of the cosmic order. And this kind of a connection can be given only by Bhagavan, who has got a supercomputer to do all these things. So therefore, he is a great connector, sandhata. He is the one who established the sandhi, the connection between the jiva and his karma in an appropriate manner. This is the meaning of the word sandhata. Then the next nama is sandhiman. Sandhiman means here Adi Shankara takes the meaning the enjoyer of the fruits of action. Phala bhokta cha sa eva iti sandhiman. So we just now saw sandhata. So the one who has got the sandhi, the connection, is got the sandhima. Because Bhagavan is the one who brings about the connections. So he becomes the sandhiman. So if it is Bhagavan who brings about the connections, what about the connection itself and the one who enjoys the connection? It is the jiva who is the bhokta, the enjoyer of the sandhi, the enjoyer of the connection between karma and karma phala. And the jiva is nothing but Ishvara only. The jiva does not know that, but from the standpoint of the reality, jiva is only a name and form of that Ishvara. So from that standpoint, jiva is Bhagavan only, and therefore Bhagavan is Sandhiman. That's how we have to understand this. And again, Bhagavan, who is manifest in the form of a sandhi, the connection, or for that matter, various connections, not only one connection. So many connections are there. I mean, for example, Puja Swamiji gives nice examples. He says when one opens one mouth and makes a sound, ah, the sound ah comes. So between the voice and the sound, there is a connection. If I can modulate and make the sound come from a certain sthana or place, the A can become A or Ka or Ha or Va or Ta. Anything that A can become anything. So between the sthana and the sound, and between the prayatna, the effort which we put in, and the sound, there is a connection. And this whole universe, this cosmos is full of connections only. If it is not there, it will collapse. It is sustained by the connections only. We cannot see the connection, but some places we can actually observe the connections. For example, the connection between the movement of the earth around the sun and the causing of the seasons. We can experience those connections rather. But there are innumerable connections. It's just like a vast internet. We can't see the connection, but we are connected. Like you and me are connected through what? Through this universe only. And even if you take our own body, it is nothing but connections only. One thing going wrong at one end of the body will have its repercussions in some other part of the body. Even something like a salt level, old senior citizens will understand all these things. Salt level in the body goes up and down, then there will be problems. There is a connection between the salt balance and the health conditions. Thus, if we go on thinking about it, we will find that everything is connected. Everything being put together is nothing but sandhis, connections, but in an orderly way. It is not a chaotic connection. These connections do not create a chaos, but they create an order. So as the author of this sandhi, as the one who has created this entire cosmic order, the entire cosmic order which is full of connections, sandhis, Bhagavan is called Sandhiman. This is the 202nd Nama. Now 203. Sthiraha, changeless and constant. Sada ekat rupatvat sthiraha, says Adi Shankara. So we have seen this meaning in different contexts. Ishvara as Atma is sthiraha, is constant and changeless. Sada eka rupatvat, because he is always of the same nature. Everything in the universe is in motion, but the core is constant. It is just like the axle of a wheel. The wheel keeps on moving around, but the axle is constant. It is there where it was. And that constancy of that axle, that core, is necessary for the wheel to move in an orderly fashion. If the axle starts moving here and there, shifting here and there, the wheel cannot move in an orderly fashion. So therefore, everything in this universe is in motion, but the core, which is Atma, Paramatma, is constant. And because of that only, the sandhi can take place. The connections can take place. And that's why, the Atma is also called Kutastha, the fulcrum, which gives stability to this whole universe. So Atma is Kutastha, and it does not undergo any change whatsoever. It lends itself for changes to take place on it, but itself does not undergo any change. And we have to note that changes can take place only because Atma is sthira, changeless. And only by that we can come to know what is Atma. That which is changeless is Atma, where everything else other than Atma keeps on changing that. Whereas if Atma were also to change, we will not be able to know Atma at all. It will also be like all other thing, drishta nashta swabhava. Suppose you catch hold of the Atma and try to understand it, it would have been gone. So there will be no way of knowing what is the Atma. So if the object of the knowledge keeps constantly changing, we cannot have knowledge of that object, isn't it? But and when we say knowledge, it should not be subject to negation. Knowledge means that abhadita jnanam. That which does not change is jnanam. And the only knowledge that does not change is what? Atma jnana. Every other type of knowledge keeps on changing. And the scientific evolution is a proof for that. What was true yesterday scientifically is no longer true today. Change, that knowledge, scientific knowledge has changed. And it constantly keeps on changing rather. So in science, we can never ever come to any finality about what something is. Started with atoms, molecules, and then somewhere it has now gone to quantum physics and all that. But they are slowly coming to the understanding that there is something in all these changes which is changeless, which cannot be observed, which can only be, they can only use calculation, theoretical calculation, mathematical calculations to understand that there is something existing. That is what the whole science is coming to. So this self-knowledge we are able to get only because the self is sthira. The Atma is sthira and changeless. What the great sage Vasishtha understood, Janaka understood, Adi Shankara understood is exactly what you and I understand when we understand. There is no difference in that knowledge, in that self-knowledge. What Ishvara knows about himself is exactly what you know about yourself. It is not any different, rather. Therefore, there is only one knowledge, and that is self-knowledge. That knowledge which does not change at all, which cannot change at all. But all the knowledge is Vyavahara Yogya Jnana. It is the knowledge which is useful for transactions in the world and which is brought into use on a daily basis, but it is not Paramarthika knowledge, it is Vyavaharika knowledge. That we must understand. That knowledge is useful only to carry out all the transactions by the jiva residing in this body, mind, sense complex, to interact with the world. That knowledge is important. But that knowledge, as I said, is constantly changing. Therefore, the only knowledge which is non-changing is the knowledge of the self, and that is nothing but Atma, knowledge of the Atma, Atma Jnanam. And Bhagavan is, Swarupa is Atma only, Paramatma only. That is why he is Sthiraha. Bhagavan is called Sthiraha. Then the next nama is Ajaha. Ajaha means the one who moves. Ajati gacchati iti ajaha, says Adi Shankara. Ajati gacchati kshipati iti va ajaha. That's what he says. So the word aja, in fact, if you look at the verbs in the Sanskrit language, 40% of the original verbs have a meaning of going, moving. Gamanartham is there. 40% of the language is all about Gamanartham only. So the Lord is Aja because he moves. is this? We are saying he moves, but we have always seen that he is sthira, he does not move, he does not change and all that, and suddenly there is something we are saying he moves. We must understand that when we are talking about scriptures, especially Vedanta, many expressions are figurative expressions. Because as a human being, we can only understand certain things when they are expressed in a certain manner. Through these figurative expressions only, we can actually discover what the non-moving Atma is. So when he says, Ajati Gachati iti Ajaha, where does he move? And this is very beautifully expressed in Taittiriya Upanishad. The Upanishad says he enters into every jiva. Tad srishtva tadeva anupravishat. In fact, this particular sentence in Taittiriya Upanishad is a subject matter of a great debate among the scholars. Anupravishat means enters. So what's the tat srishtva? Tadeva anupravishat. After creating what? Creating this entire universe. This universe belongs of all jivas. Tadeva anupravishat. He enters into every heart, every jiva as the Atma. And in Gita also Bhagavan says, Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. I obtain in the heart of everyone as Atma. So all these are all figurative expressions to show that the Bhagavan's presence in every jiva. Because typically when we say Bhagavan is present in every jiva, then what will be our question? When did Bhagavan enter that jiva? That means that there was a time when there was no Bhagavan in the jiva, and then at some point in time he entered. This is the question, or this is the understanding we will have. And in his Bhashyam, Taittiriya Upanishad, Adi Shankara explains this very beautifully. He says that even though this looks like two actions taking place, one of creation and another of entering the jiva's heart, actually there is no time difference between these two. It happens simultaneously. It is just like we switch on a light and immediately there is light everywhere. After switching it on, we don't need to wait. Of course, I'm not referring to the old tube lights. These days, tube lights also come. You switch it on, immediately there's a light everywhere. But old, the previous bulb and all that, we can say the tube light, there is starter and it used to flicker for some time, and then the light will come. Now with all these LED, what tube lights they're calling it, I'm forgetting the name. Those tube lights, you switch it on, immediately the light will come. So this Tadeva Anupravishat, we have to understand there is no action of entering, but as even when the world is created, because the creation of the world is what? Creation of this prapancha is what? It is created out of the body of the Bhagavan only. It is a Maya, Brahman plus Maya creation. The material, he is the material cause also for the creation. So there is no separate, thing which is created and Bhagavan is entering and all that. So this Ajaha is, again, we have to understand it as a figurative expression that the Bhagavan moves into the heart of Bhakta Hridayam Ajati Gachati iti Ajaha. The Lord is Aja because he enters the heart of Bhaktas and reveals himself. This is the meaning of the word ajaha. Of course, Adi Shankara takes one more, which Puja Swamiji has not dealt with it. Kshipati also, he says, Kshipati means throws. So there we have to understand that Kshipati, he throws all the dushtas, the what you can call durasuras, that is durasuras, the asuras rather. He throws them, Kshipati. So Puja Swamiji doesn't deal with that word Kshipati. He has only taken as ajati gachati iti ajaha, whereas the original Bhashyam says ajati gachati kshipati iti va ajaha. So that is the meaning of the word ajaha. Then durmarshanaha. Durmarshanaha means the one who cannot be contained, who cannot be restrained. Marshitum na shakyate iti durmarshanaha. Bhagavan, the Lord, cannot be stopped by anybody. When he wants to start the creation, he takes a sankalpas, does the creation. And when the Bhagavan wants to take back the creation at the time of resolution, nobody can stop him from doing that also. Because the Lord's sankalpa is Satya Sankalpa. If he makes a sankalpa, creation takes place and the world is born. When the time comes for withdrawing, the entire creation he withdraws unto himself. He makes a sankalpa and the creation is withdrawn. So nobody, no power anywhere can stop Bhagavan from either creating this prapancha or resolving this prapancha. That is why he is called Durmarshanaha, the one who cannot be restrained, the one who cannot be contained. Then the next is Shastha. Shasta means instructor or perceptor. Shasanakarta Shastha. Adi Shankara says, Shruti Smrityadibihi Sarvesham Anushishtim Karoti iti Shasta. Yes. So Bhagavan is one who maintains the cosmic law and order that we have already seen. He is the one who is the author of all the shasanas. Shasana means a mandate. For the whole law and order machinery to function. He has created this whole thing, and especially that is the dharma of this entire creation. Because everyone has got enough knowledge and enough common sense to sense what Samanya Dharma is. That need not be taught, isn't it? What is right and wrong, everybody knows. So the knowledge is already there in everybody. The knowledge that I do not want to get hurt, I do not want to be robbed, that knowledge is there in everybody. And also that all others also do not want to get hurt, do not want to be robbed. That knowledge is also there in everybody. So just like as I do not want to get cheated, others also do not want to be cheated. This is the basic structure of our interaction, and that is what is called Samanya Dharma. And in another religious text, they say, what is that? Do not do unto others what you do not want them do unto you. That is what this is the same thing that we have got that as a Samanya Dharma. What you don't want others to do to you, you don't do it to others. So this knowledge is there with everybody. And when the human beings interact with the world, there must be some inner mechanism to control the person's actions, because the problem is the person has got a free will which can be abused. And in fact, these days we are seeing mostly it is abused only. But that structure, that inner mechanism to control the person's action is the dharma structure. And it is this dharma structure which is holding, it is meant for, and it is holding the society within its entire framework. That is how the society can function harmoniously. Human beings can coexist with each other. If the dharma aspect is removed from the human behavior, it will be a jungle Raj. The whole world will become a jungle rather. Dog eat dog world kind of a thing, what they say. So Ishvara is manifest in the buddhi of all the jivas in the form of a dharma. But what interferes with this dharma is sometimes one may go against this knowledge due to some pressure born of desires, or due to one's background, or due to even, one may not be even aware that one is going against this. Many times this happens rather. And in fact, very often it happens within a family. You don't want others to talk to you in a very unpleasant manner. You don't like it. So according to the dharma, you should also not talk to others in an unpleasant manner. But how many of us are conscious about it whenever we talk? How consciously we talk pleasantly? Most of the times, especially within the immediate family with children, spouse and all that, many times we end up in talking in an unpleasant manner. Same thing if they do to us, we won't like, but we don't for a moment think that I am doing this and whether they will like it or not. So this dharma, this structure of dharma also occasionally that gets disturbed rather. But still this knowledge is there that this is something which should not be done. So that knowledge is untouched by anything, in the sense that nobody can say that I do not know dharma, though they may transgress it. That is a different thing. But all these human weaknesses, frailties, etc., they have no power to touch this knowledge. And this knowledge, this inner sensing of the dharma is what is Ishvara is. And this knowledge is possible because Ishvara is manifest in the form of the order, which includes the order of dharma also rather. So the universal dharma is Ishvara, and the Shrutis and Smritis confirm this dharma by telling us about the Adrishta Phala, the Punya Papa aspect of this dharma of our actions. So if one goes against the dharma, one picks up not only guilt, but also papa, which will manifest as unpleasant and painful experiences. And that is what this is the law of dharma, which is called the law of karma. And this can never be bypassed. And this is what is the knowledge that we gain from the Shrutis and Smritis. And of course, we have briefly discussed Vishesha Dharmas. Shrutis point out Vishesha Dharmas, which are restated by Smritis, Puranas, and Itihasas. And Ishvara, being the author of all the laws of Dharma, whether known by our common sense in terms of Samanya Dharmas, or through the Shastra in terms of the Vishesha Dharma, is invoked here as Shasta, the instructor. Because all these instructions about Dharma, everything is coming from Ishvara only through the scriptures, especially the Vedas and the Smriti Granthas and all that. And that is why, our Vedic lifestyle is called a dharmic lifestyle. Dharmic lifestyle is what? Dharmic lifestyle is recognizing the presence of Ishvara, presence of the dharmic values within us, and designing our conduct, our behavior according to those values. So that is the meaning of the word Shasta, the instructor. Okay. Next one is Vishrutatma. Visheshena Shrutah, the one who is specially known. Visheshena Shrutah, Satya Jnanadi Lakshanah, Atma, Lakshanah, Atma, Ataha, Vishrutatma. Atma, Ataha, Vishrutatma. So, Visheshena Shrutah, the one whose Atma, that is his Swarupa, his nature is Visheshena Shrutah, specially known by the words of Shruti. And what are those words? Words like Satyam Jnanam Anantam is Vishrutatma. That is the nature of Bhagavan. That is the Swarupa of Bhagavan. So as the one whose nature or Swarupa is Vividha Vakyaihi Shruta, this is the addition of Pujya Swamiji, because the word Vishrutatma, the V is a Upasarga, and V Shruta Atma. So that V can be taken as Visheshena, or we can also take it as Vividha. So, Visheshena Sutta is what Adi Shankara has interpreted as Vishrutatma. Pujya Swamiji has added one more, Vividha Vakyaihi Shrutaha, means presented by the Shruti through different words. Because it's not only Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Shruti also describes Ishvara or Bhagavan or that Atma at Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupa, as being ever pure, effulgent and free. So both ways we can take it, we can understand the meaning of Vishrutatma. Adi Shankara has restricted himself only Satya Jnanadi Lakshana. Pujya Swamiji is extended to other, because the Swarupa of Ishvara is explained or is described in the Vedas in different manners. So many different words are used. Still, the Upanishads struggle to actually make us understand what is that Paramatma is, that consciousness is. Even all words, unless we have got the capacity to absorb the import of those words will also fail in making us understand what the Paramatma is. So this is Vishrutatma. Then the next nama is Surariha, the destroyer of the enemies of Devas. Surariha. Surarinam Nihantritvat Surariha. So, who are the Suras? Suras are those people who are given to Dharma, Dharmic lifestyle. They are Suras. Or we call them also Devatas. Asuras are people who are given to Adharma, opposite of Sura, Asura, and opposite of Dharma, Adharma. So Asuras are people who are given to Adharma. And in fact, they cannot tolerate Dharma. And they do not allow people to follow Dharma also. In fact, they will put lot of obstacles in the way of people who want to follow dharma. And therefore, these people, these asuras are enemies of the suras. And when this becomes overwhelming, this obstacle creation by these asuras in the suras following the dharma, at that time, all the suras and devotees pray to Bhagavan. And as a result of that prayer, there is some kind of a respite that is brought about in time, either by destroying the adharma in them or by destroying them itself, destroying the asuras itself. So that is what Bhagavan Krishna says, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. The whole background of Bhagavan taking different avatars is this only, in order to, when the adharma becomes overwhelming and starts threatening the Bhagavan's order, cosmic order, Bhagavan interferes. He takes avatara. He takes an appropriate form for the kind of obstacles, for the kind of destruction that is being done by these asuras. And then either he changes the asuras, that is, he destroys the adharma in them, or if that is not possible, they have actually gone beyond that stage, he destroys them itself, the asuras itself. Therefore, Bhagavan is the one who chastises them by giving the karma phala for their adharma. And therefore, Bhagavan is called Surariha. And by his grace and help, finally, dharma always gets established. That we must never forget. We might get frustrated seeing so many things. Eventually, what gets established is dharma only, because nobody, no jiva, or even a group of jivas have got the power to disturb the cosmic order in a permanent way. We try to do that, the order will come back to us with revenge. And we are seeing all that happening day in and day out now. The more man destroys the environment fights back with more vengeance and destroys the man. Because man doesn't learn. So many groups are there, they are all saying, don't do this, don't do that, and all. But man, in his greed, he is going on destroying the environment. And then the complaints about tsunami coming, complaints about COVID coming and all that. What is all these things? COVID is what? This virus is nothing but a Surupa of Bhagavan only. So we can take it that Bhagavan has actually appeared in order to set right these what the jivas are doing and to re-establish dharma in this entire cosmos. So that is why he is Surariha. This was the 35th sloka. Now we will go to the next sloka. Gurur Guru Tamo Dhama Satya Satya Parakramah Nimisho Nimishasragvi Vachaspati Rudaradhi. So this sloka has got 9 namas, right? Guruhu Gurutamaha Dhama Satya Satya Parakramah, that is 5. Nimishaha Animishaha Sragvi Vachaspati Rudaradhi, that is 1 nama. Vachaspati Rudaradhi. So 9 namas are there. So Guruhu, Here, Guruhu means the knower of all disciplines of knowledge. Samasta Vidyanam Upadeshtutvat Guruhu. The word Guru has also another meaning called heavy. In the language, in Sanskrit, Guru also means heavy. So the one who is Guru, who is heavy with knowledge that is unshakable and free from all doubts, is called a Guru. Generally, in our normal, day-to-day, this thing, one who knows and teaches any discipline of knowledge, we call him a Guru. So the Lord, being the knower of all disciplines of knowledge, and he is also Samasta Vidyanam Upadeshta, the initiator or teacher of all various disciplines of knowledge, he is called Guru. He is the promulgator of all the Vidyas. Parameshwara, in the form of Lord Dakshinamurti, is the first Guru, Adi Guru. And in fact, any Guru is Parameshwara alone. In our life, the mother and then the father are the first teachers. Then the one who teaches the worldly disciplines of knowledge becomes Guru. In fact, there is one definition of Guru in the scriptures. Grinnati upadishati dharma brahma swarupam iti guruhu. So compared to parents, the one who teaches dharma swarupa, the nature of dharma, is a greater Guru. But the Mahavakya Upadesha Karta, the one who teaches the Mahavakya like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, etc., he alone is the real Guru. Thus, as the initiator of all knowledge, Ishvara is the first Guru. This is the meaning of Guruhu, right? Knowledge, the knower of all disciplines of knowledge. Then the next Nama is Guru Tamaha. First it said Guru, now Guru Tamaha. Guru Tamaha is comparatively higher degree. The most exalted teacher. For that, Adi Shankara explains Virinchadi Nam api Brahma Vidya Sampradayakatvat Guru Tamaha. Virinchadi Nam api Brahma Vidya Sampradayakatvat Guru Tamaha. Yo Brahmanam Vidatati Purvam Shvetara Upanishad. Iti mantra varnat. Yo Brahmanam Vidatati Purvam. Okay. So the suffix Tama, Guru Tamaha, there is a suffix called Tama. That suffix is added to the word Guru to show excellence. Guruhu, Guru Taraha, Guru Tamaha. Tamaha is the what they call best, better, best, the highest degree. So Guru Tama means an exalted Guru who is a Guru of all Gurus. So how did this Guru of ours become a Guru, a teacher? He became a Guru. For example, today you all call me Guru. I became a Guru because of my Guru. How did my Guru become a Guru? He became a Guru because of his Guru. Thus it goes on. And who is the first Guru? He is Guru Tama. Ishvara is Guru Tama. The teacher of all teachers, as he is the initiator of all knowledge. And Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of Brahman, is the most exalted Vidya. And Lord Narayana, as the initiator of this exalted Vidya, is Guru Tama. He is the one who teaches Brahma Vidya even to Brahmaji and others. That's what he says. Yo Brahmanam Vidatati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Prahinoti Tasmai. This is the full sentence in Shweta Ashvatara Upanishad. So it says that he is the one who created Brahmaji in the beginning and taught him the Vedas. All the Vedas, Bhagavan only taught, Ishvara only taught. And what is this Brahma Vidya? Brahma Vidya is, it's nothing but self-knowledge. Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, all these are all same things, only different words used for describing the same thing. The knowledge, the true knowledge of the self, which is the absolute reality. Brahma Vidya is that which teaches the Mahavakya. And as we have seen, Tattvamasi is one Mahavakya, which is a great equation. Tat Tvam Asi, which says that Jiva is Ishvara. The Jiva, who is a limited being with limited knowledge, unlimited power, is equated to Ishvara, who is the limitless total. So this limited person is told that he is Ishvara, the Lord. The Lord's power includes this person's power also. The Lord's knowledge includes all knowledge that this person possesses. When this is so, how can this person be equated to Ishvara will be the question. Now, if we analyze, what we will find is, if the differences between Ishvara and Jiva are real, then there can be no equation at all. Isn't it? For example, 3 is equal to 4. It's not an equation because 3 is not equal to 4. We know it. Again, if the differences do not exist at all, then also there is no necessity for equation. We don't need to say 4 equal to 4. That is it's a useless equation rather. It doesn't convey anything. Hence, an equation is possible only when the differences seem to be there, but at the same time they are not real. They are only apparent differences. For example, 6 plus 3 is equal to 5 plus 4. When we see such an equation, clearly there are apparent differences. There are different numbers we are talking about, 6, 3, 5 and 4. There is no commonality between these numbers other than the fact that they are numbers. But when we solve this equation, by applying the rules of arithmetic, we will find that 6 plus 3 is 9, 5 plus 4 is also 9. Then that makes an equation. So therefore, there is no real difference between 6 plus 3 and 5 plus 4. The differences which we see are only apparent. Similarly, when we actually understand the full meaning of Tattvamasi, which is what this entire Brahma Vidya is about, we will understand that Ishvara and Jiva are not different. All the differences are all apparent. They are mithya. They do not have real existence. It is like the wave and ocean, isn't it? We have seen these examples earlier also. Between the wave and the ocean, there is a difference, but at the same time, there is no real difference because the wave cannot exist independent of the water. The ocean also cannot exist independent of the water. Therefore, what is the truth of the ocean and wave? The truth of the ocean and the truth of the wave is nothing but water. Water is the truth of both the wave and ocean. And in that sense alone, wave is equated to the ocean. We have to understand this. The truth of the Paramatma is what? Sachidananda Swarupa hai. The truth of Jiva is what? Sachidananda Swarupa hai. So even though between Paramatma and Jivatma, or Ishvara and Jiva, we can see lot of apparent differences. In essence, the content of both Jiva and Ishvara is only Sachidananda hai, or Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Therefore, in trying to understand these Mahavakyas, what we have to do, all that which looks different has to be negated. In the example of the ocean and wave, the oceanness and the waveness, we have to understand, are to be negated because they are just incidental properties of water. The same water, at sometimes it has taken the shape of an ocean, and it is called an ocean, the Nama Rupa of ocean. And at other times, in that ocean itself, it takes the Nama Rupa of waves and the form of waves. But whether you call it ocean or wave or anything, ripple, it is all water only. Water is the reality of this entire thing. And by this, understanding this oneness, which is water, we understand the oneness of the waves, ocean, everything. We must also understand that this, it's not that the wave will become an ocean. Because Bhagavan says every Mahavakya Upadesha Karta is me alone. That does not mean that he becomes a Bhagavan, but Mahavakya Upadesha Karta is the real Guru. And none can have this knowledge without the grace of Ishvara. So therefore, the first Guru is also Ishvara, our Guru is also Ishvara. Thus, we salute the entire Parampara, the lineage, starting from Lord Narayana and Brahmaji and ending with our Guru, starting from Lord Dakshinamurti up to our teacher. And this Guru Parampara is beautifully traced in the following sloka. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vasishtam Shaktim Cha Tatputra Parasharam Cha Vyasam Shukam Gauda Padam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Matasya Padmapadam Cha Hastamalakam Cha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakara Manyan Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi. This is a beautiful sloka or tracing of the entire Guru Parampara right from Narayanam, Padma Bhuvam. Padma Bhuvam is Brahmaji, Vasishtam, Putram Shakti, Parasharam, Vyasacharya. So then Shankaracharya, Padmapadam, Hastamalakam, all the Shishyas of Totakam. So like that, then Asmad Gurun Santatam Anatosmi. So by these two words, Guru and Gurutama, the whole Parampara, the lineage and Vidya are covered. We'll stop here and then continue in the next class. Okay, I'll say the prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you,
Mama.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Namaskaram,
you.
Guruji.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Any questions? Any doubts? Any clarifications? There.
Wishing all a very happy new year.
Yes, I should say that. I was about to say that. Well, we will be now meeting in the new year, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, the 31st is Saturday. First January is New Year, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be meeting in New Year. So advance wishes to all of you for a much
Happy-
better 2022 as compared to 2021, which is all we are all praying, right? So let us hope so that we will become. It may not go away, but it may have very less intensity, at least in terms of weakening. The whole thing will weaken. So it is just like a cyclone. So it comes, then it peaks, then it weakens, and then goes away. Like that, probably this virus cyclone also will behave like that. So let 2022 be good for all of you. We will again wish ourselves on the 1st January when we will meet for this class. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
धन्यवादः महोदय नमस्ते
Thank
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.